Very excited to share with you this exercise that I've done for years and that I just this week took my private clients through. And this is a powerful exercise that sets you up to do amazing strategic planning for the next year. Now, here we sit, December 10th. And if you're thinking, I should have done this last month or maybe even earlier, I will say to you, you're probably right. But we don't look back and have shame or judgment or guilt about that. Today, how they say the best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago. Well, and the next best day is today. Same thing here, right? So I want to take you through this exercise because this will give you clarity like nothing else. Now, when I tell you exactly what this exercise is, you may be tempted to think, well, that's basic, like that's simple, like that's the juice. And I will tell you that things that are profound are often simple. Strategies, concepts, mindset shifts that really move the needle, they tend to be simple, right? Where was it? Lamentations. There is nothing new under the sun. And so, if you thought I'd come up with some grandiose exercise that hasn't ever been thunk up before, well, that's not what we're about to endeavor. But I would venture to say that very few actually do what I'm about to take you through. Now, my clients know uh, that I encourage them, I highly recommend to them that they do what I call evaluate. They have evaluations on their work. And you evaluate at the end of a day. You evaluate at the end of a week. You evaluate after a launch. You evaluate after any event. You evaluate your work. And there are three powerful questions around this concept of evaluating your work. And I'll lay out what those three are, and then I'll tell you how everything comes together in this amazing exercise that really does get you clear and focused so that the planning you do is strategic. It is grounded in reality, not in, kind of, um, pulling numbers out of the air, right? Because one of the things that I never ceases to amaze me, how many women tell me, and I'm talking about whether you're earlier on in business or even almost to seven figures, I've heard women all across that spectrum tell me, I hate goal setting. I just hate it. And I don't like budgets either. And when I inquire as to why, they don't really give me a good answer. Meaning an answer that even like when their answer even like they call themselves out. Oh, that's not that. I know that's not a good answer. Or I know that that just doesn't make sense. But right, there's some mind junk around that oftentimes. But you know, I do often hear them say something to the effect of, "I don't like goal setting or budgeting because I can never hold to it." In the budgeting, it's because I can't hold to it. And when it comes to goal setting, it's like I don't ever reach my goals. So, like, why would I want to do that? It just sets me up for disappointment. Now, this is going to be focused just on, this is going to be just focused on the actual exercise itself because there's a lot I could have say I could go off on that whole thing of how some good rules, if you will, around goal setting so that you're not constantly feeling like you're chasing the impossible. Okay. We're pursuing the impossible. We're not chasing it. Okay. Because when we chase things and we keep chasing this elusive goal that we never hit, that is very frustrating. That's not good. All right. Let's pull back. What are the three questions we ask when it comes to evaluation? And listen, if my clients are listening, and I know many of you are, hold on because the real juice of it's going to come after these three questions. Okay, so hang tight. So, these three questions that you ask and the order in which you ask them is very important. The first question is, what worked? What worked? The second question is, what didn't work? The third question is, as a result of all of that you've identified, what are you going to do differently? So, what worked? What didn't work? What am I going to do differently? Now, When we did this exercise yesterday with my breakthrough clients, someone asked, well, how do I know if if I'm answering it correctly? Or how do I know I'm doing this right? And I smiled and said, you can't do it wrong. You can't do it wrong, right? What worked is what worked in your mind, right? And I'm going to give examples in a second. What worked is what worked for you. And that may not be the same thing that would work for Jane or for Jackie. Okay. All right. So what worked? What didn't work? What am I going to do differently? All right. Those are the three questions you're going to ask for each of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 areas. Okay. I'm going to lay out these 7 areas. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. So these areas through which you're going to take it through those 3 questions are your offer, if you're in the early stage of business, because you should have 1 to focus on to sell it. Or if you're already at 6 or multi-6 figures, your number 1 category is offer suite. Okay. So offer or offer suite is the first category. Second category is marketing. Third category is sales. Fourth category is delivery. Fifth category is mindset. And I'll say embodiment on that as well. Mindset and embodiment. Next is team. And finally, operations. Now, I will tell you, there's such flexibility here because some of you might say, well, I don't really need to take team separate from ops, so I'll, take them together. And while they are distinct, and I would highly recommend you do keep them separate, look, this is your business. You know your business model. You know the way you do things. So let's go through those categories again. Offer or offer suite, depending where you are in your business. Marketing, sales, delivery. Mindset and embodiment is 1. That's the next one. Okay. Delivery, then mindset and embodiment, then team, then operations. Okay. Now let's talk through some examples. So in the way of offer suite, when you say what worked, you could say, wow, my bestseller, my signature offer, the main foundational offer just killed it this year. I have had more clients this year than ever in that. And that was amazing. Okay. And that may be one example of what worked. Another one that say what worked in the way of offer is you might have refined or revised your offer, for example, your mastermind offer, and the way you structured it with your time and, as it relates to client results, it feels so good for you and it delivers for them. Those are examples of what worked. Now, staying in the offer or offer suite, just to walk that through. What didn't work may be that you realize, ooh, you know what? My offer suite didn't work in the way of promotion. It felt kind of haphazard. As I look back, this is you talking. As I look back, it didn't. I know that I wasn't as clear in my promotion of certain offers, and so I can see how if I was confused or felt behind the 8 ball and kind of doing things willy-nilly, flying by the seat of my pants, if you will, that I'm sure that my audience felt that way. So, that didn't work. You see what I'm saying? That is an example. So just search your brain. And then finally, for what I'm going to do differently in that example would be, well, I am going to make sure I map out my, at least 90 days in advance, my promo calendar so that everybody will know, me, my team, my audience, my audience will understand. They won't know ahead of time, but it'll be clear what I'm promoting at any one time. Okay. Does that make sense? By the way, if you ever have questions as you listen to the podcast, I'd love to connect with you over at Instagram. I'm at Judy Weber Co. Judy Weber Co. Reach out over there if you have questions. I would love to be connected if we're not already. All right. So we have our 3 questions, our evaluation questions. What worked, what didn't work? What am I going to do differently? We have our 7 categories. Now, here's the thing. This is going to take some time to do this in a way that's going to totally set you up for your most powerful strategic plan for 2026. And that is each of these evaluation questions you should spend at least 5 minutes on. I would urge you to say 10 minutes, right? So here's what I mean. Let's say you're starting with the first category of offer suite. I want you to set your timer for 10 minutes, and you're going to sit there and write, or write in your Google Doc, write with your pen or with a Google Doc, whatever you like. You're going to download your thoughts. Just write. Doesn't have to be clean. This is just your notes. Whatever comes up in the way of what worked as it relates to your offer suite. I need you to spend 10. I urge you. I said 5. I'm gonna change that. 10 minutes. And you know what's gonna happen? Within like 3 minutes, you're gonna think, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna move on. Don't. Just don't. This is teaching yourself to power think in a disciplined way, which is what 7-figure CEOs do. Okay. If it feels hard, you lean into it. You don't go lean in. You don't lean into the, oh my gosh, I'm done. No, you lean into that. Ooh, this feels uncomfortable to just sit here and think about this for another, what, 8 minutes? Yes, that's exactly what you do. Right? Okay. So, and only when that timer goes off at 10 minutes, then would you go to the next question as it relates to your offer suite. What didn't work? Set that timer for 10 minutes again. Okay. Now, if you are like, I do this all throughout the year, like, why should I do this now? And one of my mastermind clients, she's like, Jude, I do this already. I do it definitely quarterly on a detailed basis. Well, I do it every week, she said, but then on a quarterly basis, I come back and like rethink it. I said, well, I will tell you that kind of reviewing your prior notes then from the past quarter in those summaries, that would be beautiful. But even again, evaluating the entire 12 months in this way is going to help you when you're setting budget. It's going to help you when you're setting revenue goals. It's going to help you as you think about the team that you need to hire, and the roles that you currently have and what's working and what's not. I'm telling you, this is such a powerful exercise. So that's it. I laid it all out. This previously had been reserved for my private clients, and now you have it. You're welcome. I would love to hear from you, like I said, at Instagram at Judy Weber Co. And if you're curious in what it might look like to work together, this is the time to reach out. The best place, again, Instagram, Judy Weber Co. Because no matter where you are in business, whether you are currently doing one-to-one and you want to transition to a group, or you want to create a course, or you want to, hey, Jude, you know what? My offer suite is just too clunky. I need to, refigure this out. One of my star clients in the past year was a brand specialist. And prior to working together, she was literally doing custom proposals for every client. And within very short order, within just a couple of weeks, we totally revamped her offer suite and made it higher end because she was really delivering at a high level and working with like 7-figure clients. And she's like, wow, this is so easy. Why was I doing it the hard way? Maybe you're looking to fill your group program. Maybe you are a consultant and you're like, I need more corporate deals. Whatever it is, I got you. So if you're curious, I would be happy to strategize with you and see if it's a fit, because, not everybody qualifies to work with me, no matter what level of business you're on. But if you are excited to work with a coach who's got 30 plus years in sales and business experience, my first business started in 2003. If you don't know my story, I've added it up and I'm well over $11 million in sales in my lifetime sales. So I can help you. All right, I'm gonna let you go. Have a beautiful, blessed day, and we'll talk soon.